Hello motor fans, welcome to the channel. Today we are out on the 2021 Trident 660. Following behind, we have a tried and true 2013 Suzuki SFV650. Today we're going to do a little comparison and answer a few questions about this bike and see how it stacks up against some of the rivals. I'm not going to dive too far into its competition, but this SFV650 is considered the pinnacle by a lot of people as the best beginner bike that's ever been produced. Now, just going off of some specs here, you can see how closely they stack up. And really the only thing that stands out is the safety features that were available then versus now. Which, the weight, you would think, it would be a little bit higher since we do have more safety equipment on the newer model. But that just goes to show you how they've gotten better with technology and lightening up bikes. And that makes a huge difference. Now diving into the suspension, we have a 41mm Showa upside down fork, and on the rear we have a Showa monoshock. And it's not the best suspension, it's all preset, there's no adjustability there, but I find it adequate, and I'm 250 pounds, so for me, a lot of people on this bike say it's a little stiff. I didn't feel like it was, but that could be all weight related as well. This Trident sits on the Michelin Road 5 tires, which is an excellent tire. I cannot speak highly enough of this tire. Really enjoy the ride quality, the sound, everything about this tire is just top par. So let's dive into the brakes. On the Trident we've got a couple 310mm discs up front and a 255 in the rear, and on that Suzuki, I believe that's a 290mm up front and a 250 in the rear. Now, one thing that really sets these two bikes apart, I think, is the steel braided brake lines. It makes a huge difference within your braking. Having the ABS on the Trident, it inspires a little bit of confidence for most beginner riders. I think it's a good option for any beginner bike. So we're going to be stopping a little ways up here, and we're going to get some B-reel, and I want to kind of point out some of the add-ons that we've done to this bike. I think it really changes up the way it feels, the way it rides, and it makes it quite fun. One thing also I'd like to note is that the traction control on this bike, you can turn it off. So if you're like me and you like to get out there and let the front end come up a little bit, you're able to do that. With it on, it is super intrusive, and it's not a disappointment by any means. It's just it kind of kicks in a little earlier than I would like. I would also point out that the ABS on this particular bike works very well. I've tested it a few times in some loose gravel, and they did a good job with that, especially at the price point that this bike comes in. Well, we're at a stop sign here, so we will end this clip and I'll meet you on the other. Here's a few things we've installed: quad lock, phone holder, fly screen, ASV lever, quick shifter. Those ASV levers, much better feel. I did all the installs on these myself as well. It's all straightforward. That fly screen really gives it a much better appearance.
first. Dude, I don't see anybody.
Yeah, we're good.
You ready?
So now we've got Logan. He's riding on the 2021 Trident, and I'm following close behind on this SFV650.
Sorry, I'm fixing myself. I gotta get the camera out, got a little bit of footage, a couple pictures.
So right off the bat, he's feeling very confident on this bike. I can tell by the way he's riding it. And it is a confidence-inspiring bike, for sure. It's got adequate power. Some of these hills are pretty steep. You can see this bike's fifth gear just goes right up the hill, no problem. I'd like to point out this SFV, it's a little dated, you can feel it. I mean, the throttle is, it's like I say an on and off switch in the video.
I definitely don't feel like you're gonna like beat the hell out of this bike.
It's a long throw on and off switch.
I've learned to like enjoy beating the hell out of my bike.
Say like a quick disconnect, just like on, off. The rider triangle on the SV isn't too bad. The bars are super narrow.
This bike's happy in fifth gear.
I kind of feel like Mary Poppins on it.
Yours is more of a third and fourth.
The brakes aren't bad on this SFV. They're not as great as the Trident.
I don't like the leg. I can. I just realized my strap is on my backpack's undone. That's why I feel so.
They both have excellent turning. Great road manners as well.
I know you see it though, so.
The SFV has a full exhaust on it, import can.
I'm like super close to you.
It's like that big patch up swamp.
Yeah, you're on the lane one.
The GoPro doesn't really pick up how steep these hills are. You can really hear that I'm having to really rev this bike out to even match the power that the Triumph's putting out. It's a pretty substantial difference, and I feel like you can hear that in this video.
Chasing some cinematic views here.
You can really feel a dead spot in the throttle on this SFV650.
Yeah, your throttle is like kind of like an on and off switch. I'm used to throttle by wire on all my bikes. Well, there's a lot of play in your throttle, like.
Right. It gets it in this fifth gear, you're right. It just moves up the hill. That was hilarious. That was the first time I really put it into perspective.
Yeah, it's like you don't even really have to shift it.
You gotta love the lively engine in this Trident.
That's a good photo opener.
I think the
handle or the grips on this bike are super small. As I grip.
Yeah.
Nearly 30 pounds difference between
Skyler corner. Must be the next one. The brakes on this are fantastic.
Right? For cheap brakes, they do really well.
They are much better than this SFV, but keep in mind, you know, there's a few years difference between these two.
So narrow, it's messing with me.
Yeah, this stance is great. Whatever is on this Trident.
They could be a little wider for me.
No. It'd be,
what's this guy doing?
Wasn't really sure?
Yeah,
no, he wasn't.
The triangle fits me well on this both bikes actually. It's just the bars aren't wide enough. I wear a 50 to 52 in the jacket size, so I'm pretty wide up top.
We're trying to listen through that corner to make sure we're gonna cut the tight on the. I'm really liking the higher gear in the corner on this bike. I see what you were talking
it rolls
about.
out so smoothly.
Yeah, it's like being in a luxury fucking motorcycle. What the hell is that about?
Like
But I don't even want. Yeah, I don't even want to like really shift out or anything things. Just fourth and fifth gear for the win. Except for the stop sign thinks otherwise.
The Trident really is one of those bikes that you just have to ride to appreciate. Coming in at the price point $8,000, you're getting a lot of bike for your money.
Look at turn signal.
You finally get a bike with self-canceling turn signals when you don't use them.
I do notice as fast as I was trying to like make it apparent. Chasing them. I was trying to walk up a little downshift. Because I don't know how OBS really handles, so, and I can feel it, I felt it at least.
Yeah, it handles it sharply.
You can almost like pinpoint where it's gonna do its thing, you know?
Yeah, you point your head, it goes. Like, it doesn't really complain. It does get upset suspension-wise on rough terrain in the turns, but, like, it's not horrible. It's expected for the price point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was saying that as far as my bike goes, like I'll end up with comp picks sometimes because of the suspension.
Well, ideally, what's crazy is both of these bikes, respectively, are in the same price category.
That guy was even looking, and he was looking at that pond or something. He realized he was in the corner and he...
I see that twitch and that nod of the head.
Yeah. We're going right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, we're going downhill. I guess I'll stop fully. Oh, sort of. That was not really a stop.
Gotta get from there.
You know, I can hear it. I can tell that that was a good really.
And the suckers right before turn.
Alright, so let's talk about the bikes in this category. So, in my opinion, really the only bike that kind of comes close to comparing with this, I would say, is the SFV650 from Honda. Next up, it's going to be the MT-07. I will say that I do like the motor of the MT-07 much better. It's just the way it delivers its power is way better than what you get with that Honda. That Honda, you just gotta stay so high up in the revs to make any of the power. It's not really good for the type of riding that I like to do. I like to hang out in the twisties and the canyons and stuff like that. As far as a beginner bike, I think the latter actually does a better power delivery for somebody that's kind of newer to throttle control and stuff like that. So the bike that we're comparing with it today, which is, you know, nearly 20 years on the market, it's the SFV, the SV650. Those bikes have been around for a long time. If your budget sits you around $4,000, that is the bike for you. That is a great bike. They're getting hard to pick up in the SF form. The SFVs are a little bit easier to find. If you do find one in the SF form that's, you know, it's not been tracked or beat on very bad, then yeah, I would definitely pick that up. It's a good bike for the money. If you're looking to kind of step up to anything more on the current timeline, you know, you've got really a low-end choice and a higher-end choice, and this guy is, I would say, kind of in the higher-end choice. You're 10.3 out the door in most cases with the parts we fitted. We break those down for you. So we have the factory frame sliders. We've fitted the Bluetooth integration module. We've fitted heated grips. We've fitted the quick shifter. We've also added the TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system, the fly screen, and I believe that's it for the options on this. I can't think of anything else on the top of my head, but you know, you're 10.3 out the door, and that's about the same price as what the MT-07's coming in out the door if you add a little whistles to it or a couple bells. This CB650, that's sitting almost 12,000 out the door, and then you got the trusty SV650, and you can still grab that bike for around 9 out the door. I think 9.5 or so, but I mean, they haven't updated that bike in forever. So, you know, a couple of different paint schemes and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, it's still a great bike, but it's just they need a good update on that. This bike, you know, having the nicer dash, the quick shifter availability, and just the fit and finish overall is really, really good on it. You know, I have to say that in this class, the price point, this is a perfect bike, and that's why we picked one up for my wife. She fell in love with it, you know. You've seen a few pictures and videos kind of surfing up, and she was just him-hawing around, but she went through her leg over at it at the demo days. Granted, it was a European model, but we didn't get started or anything like that, but she was like, yep, this is for me. I like this bike. And you know, she's a pretty good choice of character. I mean, she did choose me, and so that being said, you know, if you have your budget and you're looking for a newer bike, definitely throw your leg over this. Compare it for yourself. But I will say, you know, I've tossed my leg over a lot of bikes, and you know, this is by far, in my opinion, the better choice in this category. And I don't think you would go wrong. If you're trying to stick to under 4,000 or 5,000, definitely try and pick up an older SFV. There's a few bikes in that market under 6 that are really good bikes. XSR 700, you have the SV650, MT-07, all of those you could pick up used somewhere around 6,000 or so. But I think if you're going to go with a budget, picking up one of these SV650s or SFV650s for around $4,000 is a great bike. Does anything you really want it to. You know, at the time of me doing this video, this gentleman that's riding the Trident at the moment, he took this SFV on a 1,330 mile trip, and we went all over Colorado. The bike did just fine, actually got better gas mileage than the rest of our bikes, but you know, it's a great bike. I have to say that, you know, riding it, I enjoy riding it. You know, it feels a little old school, but that's something you can appreciate. You know, it's, there's no nannies holding you back on this bike, and you don't have to stop, take it out of traction control, and, you know, make sure you're gonna go into a slide. Your ABS isn't gonna mess with you too much, if you're into that sort of thing. But that's just, you know, it's something about throwing an older bike between your legs. You know, it's kind of fun when you don't have any nannies. So I'll show you a clip here where I really hammer on the brakes with this SV650, and had it had ABS, I probably would have stopped a lot faster, but here's the clip. Let me know what you think in the comments. So here you can see we're doing roughly 55 mile an hour, come to a quick stop, just blow almost past my turn. Luckily the guy behind me was smart, he kept going straight, avoid any collision there. That's why you ride with smart people. That's going to conclude this video for today. Thanks for watching. If it's something you'd like to see, like and subscribe. Give me some ideas of what you'd like to see in maybe a future video, and we'll see if we can make it happen. So we look forward to putting out a few more videos of some of our journeys that we have around here in Colorado, and maybe a few out-of-state runs as well.